not ready to start that final? Have you not studied for your subjects yet? Well, I'm here to help you. So today I'm going to be helping you guys relieve a little bit of your stress, and for anybody who's in my social class, I have some notes I'm going to give you guys just in case you don't have them, or in case you want to use this video to study anything you want. You know, you can just use it, or even if you just want to watch this video just for the tips and stuff. So here I go. So I'm going to show you guys a few things that might relieve you before a test, and you know, a few things you can bring into the test that your teachers won't mind and that might calm you down, make you feel a little better, make you feel a little more comfortable and at home. So the first thing I recommend that you guys bring is a snack. Like, anything is good, you know, a fruit, vegetables, granola bar, preferably, something that wouldn't annoy your teachers too much. But if you really want to annoy them, you can bring chips or something. Even a Hungry Man dinner would do. The thing that I really recommend that you guys bring is a pack of gum or Mentos or anything that you can chew on, because to me, I feel like that helps relieve a lot of stress and makes you feel a little bit more calm. Another thing I recommend you bring to the test is a highlighter. Other than your pencils and your erasers, a highlighter always helps, because as my teachers tell me and as I've learned throughout the years, one answer to one question could be another answer for another question, or one thing that they write now could be the answer to the question on the next page. But that's your choice or not. If you don't want to do that, I'm not saying you have to. I'm just saying that's something that I preferably do. Another thing you guys should do is take notes. Always study, write down little tips and tricks. Like, even when I'm in class, I always have a notebook with me that I have open, and I'm taking notes, whatever the teacher writes on the board, so that I never forget it. During finals, I always have one of these, or, you know, anything to write something on so that you can remember, a piece of paper, anything. And they're perfect. Like, you can take it and write all your little notes on them, leave little tips and stuff, so then you won't forget what you're doing, and it just helps you stay organized. Another thing you can do for the test is, you know, I heard walking or just being fit and like active right now is just such a great thing, because during a test we tend to like sit around a lot and open our books and just stress and stress and stress and study and study and study. Just get out and go and relax and hang out with friends for a while, and trust me, you will do great on the test. Do not cram all your studying into the night before, because you're not going to remember. It's really hard to memorize your words. It's something you don't want to do. You want to actually be able to learn it or teach yourself it, even if you forgot it. Like, bring it up into your mind and then just do it from there, so it'll just make it so much easier for you. So those are some of my tips and tricks. If you guys want more, I'll put them in my math video that I'm going to be doing tomorrow. So let's get on with the social notes. Pageified, here we go. Have been talking about how stressed they are for their social test, because it seems to be like one of the hardest classes that we're in, social history, whatever you want to call it. And I have some notes from the quiz that I studied and I've been working on, because I took a bunch of notes on them, and I'm going to share my notes with you and help you understand them the best that I physically can. Saying that this is going to help you study, I'm just saying that, like, these are the answers I got. I don't know if it's like a full-on answer. If you need more on it, you can probably just Google it or read back on it. But these are the answers I have, and these are not all of the questions for the quiz. These are just the ones that I chose that I want to do for the quiz. So if you're not doing these questions, then you don't need to use them. I'm just putting them out there so that in case you guys want to use them, you can. So it seems to me that a few people in my social class and the other social class are having a little bit of trouble studying. So I have my study notes here that I'm going to share with you guys, the answers I got. I did choose questions off of the test that were said that you could choose either 3 of these questions or 2 of these. So if you're doing different questions, I'm sorry that I don't have the answers to them on me, but I hope that you guys do well, and I hope that this video helps all of you, and I hope that the answers I have and the questions that I have can be at least half of your test, or like most of it. The first 2 that I'm going to go through with you is monochromatic time and polychromatic time. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing those wrong, and I'm sorry if I pronounce anything wrong in this video. I kind of have a pronunciation problem. But monochromatic is where people care less. They care less about others and they care more about being on time, planning things, having specific dates set, and all of that stuff. Polychromatic, complete opposite. So they're like enemies. The other one doesn't even care about time and dates and schedules. It cares more about relationships and the more important things in life, like going on a date or something. I just remember them as like opposing enemies, like they're fighting each other. Lunar, or however you pronounce it, I will post it up there above my head, or somewhere up here, or even in my hand. But lunar time is like a time that happens from past to present, and almost like a timeline. If you made one, like, timelines happen from bottom to top. I will post the timeline here if you don't know what past to present is, or what 1 to 10 is. So it'd be like 1 to 10, 1 is lowest, 10 is highest, so 1 would be past and 10 would be present, and that's how you're going to understand it, because I have no other way to explain it. Absolute time, I would put that out there as absolute time is like precise. Like certain dates, like it's the precise date, like you know it's that date, like my birthday is on this specific date and I was born at this specific time. That is absolute time, like you know exactly when it is, when it happened, where it happened, why it happened, all of that. And then we have cyclical time, and cyclical time is time that happens like repeatedly. Like everybody says that you have to make a wish at 11:11. That happens twice a day. At lunch, 11:11, and then late at night, almost midnight, like 11:11. You can make wishes either of those times, and that happens every night. Just like the moon comes out most nights, like that is basically cyclical, because it's supposed to come out, like, it's shown that the moon comes out every night and the sun comes out every day. That is cyclical. It happens. Or like we go to bed every night and we wake up every day. Mostly, if we are normal, we do that and we get 8 hours of sleep. Hopefully, it happens again and again and again until you die. Or I just leave this alone. I have one that actually really confused me, how to count centuries. That was something that really, really bugged me a lot. Like, I could not do it even if my life depended on it. But guess what? I can do it now, and now I can explain it to you. So what you're going to want to do is, if you look at it, like the first century is not like 1 to 2. It's like 1 to 100. But what you're going to want to do is you stop. So you never go like past the next 100. So it'd be like the second century would be like 101 to 200, if that even makes sense. What year was the 10th century in? And that was the first century. I got really confused on that, and I thought they were like, what years, like 10th century, and it's like 901 to 1000. But they're like, it was like, what 10th century is 10C in? And I thought, 901 to 1000, but no, that's not it. It meant like the first or second or third, and that is the first century, because 10 is in between 1 and 100. And another question is, when is 250 BP? And BP is before present, but I don't think you're gonna just want to put 250 before present on your test. It's actually 1863, as I'm correct. I got that from my friend, and I'm just trying to remember it still as it is, and I'm pretty sure that's what it is. So if you want to answer that, just put, just be all chill, just be like 250 BP, 1963. I got this in the bag. It's an agricultural society. And how did the second and third revolution, social revolution, affect it? So what an agricultural society is, a society that is based on producing and maintaining crops and, their farmland. So they live to grow crops and have land and stuff. And the second, social revolution helped because they made the plow. If you don't know what a plow is, I will Google what a plow is if you don't know what it is. And in the third revolution, social revolution, they made the steam engine. So that's how those affected them, because those are both things that you can use to, farm. Another question is, define a hunting and gathering society. A hunting and gathering society is a society that supports themselves by hunting animals and fishing, because that's what they do. Or, gathering wild berries or vegetables, or, well, as my friends call it, edible plants. The question is, how was the domestication of plants and animals change society? And what I found is that, it gave them a food source, and it also helped them, enable, the population growth. It increased population growth. What was the 7 Years' War? And I'm pretty sure this was just an optional question, out of all. And what I got was that, it was a major military conflict between British and the French. And that's honestly all you need to know. What were the numbered treaties? Numbered treaties were like 11 treaties that were, they were like treaties, 11 of them that were signed by like the Aboriginal people of Canada and, you know, the monarchy government and like all of that, so then they could, I'm pretty sure it was so that they could stay in Canada. I may be wrong on that, don't correct me. So the question is, what was the BNA Act and how does it relate to the First Nations people? Well, the BNA Act was the British North American Act. Okay, the simplified version was the BNA Act took the land that was given to the First Nations and they moved it and they gave them a different land because they decided that they wanted the land that the First Nations had, and then they decided, you know what? Let's just give them new land because they don't need this land. They don't care as long as they get land. So that's basically how it involves the First Nations and the BNA Act. That's like the most simplified answer you will possibly find on that. The next one is define worldview. And to me, worldview is like a comprehensive view on the world. Wow, I feel like I'm a grammar teacher right now. Do you know what comprehensive is? Because I don't. It says, why is it needed to have one? Now, in my view, a worldview is needed because, like, it's your view on the world. Like, it tells you what you believe in, what you think of mankind, human race, the world as we see it now. That's what I think worldview is, you know, just how you see it through your eyes and what you view. And I feel like it's almost, like, just as important as, like, your opinion. Why did the Persians lose the Second Persian War? The Persians lost the Second Persian War because when they were going to attack whoever they were going to attack, they had to go through this ridge called Thermopylae. And Thermopylae was like almost like a very, like, it wasn't like small, but it wasn't very big. It was more like a ridge. And they're going through it, and the Spartans, being as smart as the Spartans were, but they blocked it, like, at the end. So basically, the big old Persians who had the big group like of thousands of them, and there was a little group of Spartans who had, you know, maybe a couple thousand, not as much as the, like, Persians had, blocked it because they knew that if, like, they were to block it, then they wouldn't have to, like, all get killed because there wasn't very many angles that you could take them as. So they got killed there, and that is why they lost, because they were outsmarted. They were the dumberness. Who was Spartacus? Spartacus was actually, like, a Thracian. I think that's said wrong. Slave. And he was also a gladiator. Girls, don't be falling your head over toes over Spartacus because he's dead. But anyways, he led a revolt to, like, against Rome in 73 because he, like, didn't feel like it was right that they were slaves and he knew they could take them over. But, like, as it was in the movie, I Am Spartacus, everyone stood up, said they're Spartacus, all ended up getting killed. But Spartacus was defeated by Crassus in 71. So remember that fact. So those are just the ones that you could choose. Those are optional. I know everyone doesn't have the same ones. There was like many of them you could choose from. And it just said choose 4. So choose your 4. Go on Google, look it up, figure out what it is. And then, you know what? How I study is that I put it on like notes. Like, here, I'll show you. This is my note. And on one side it has a question. And on the other side it has the answer. So what I do is I hold it up in front of myself, making sure my hand's on the back so I cannot see what it is even if I wanted to. And I ask myself the question and I sit there and I think about it and, you know, I give myself time. And if I don't get it, you know, I read the back and, you know, I go over it in my head over and over and then I, you know, switch cards and keep going through them. And then I ask myself the question until I get it right. And it works so well. If you want to write them out, that's completely good. This is just my way of doing it. I'm not saying anybody else should do it this way. This is just ways that help me do it. So I hope this video helped you. And I heard that some people wanted a math video, so tomorrow I'm going to give you formulas on the 4 things that we learned in math. And I'm just going to help you out so then you can prepare a little bit and be ready. So I hope you guys all enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys later. Bye, guys!